Oh hey, I didn't see you there. I don't have the skill to pull it off there. It's something beyond me. It's called Beware the Batman. Fuck it. It's this show that is causing a lot of shit on the internet. And it's funny how much it's turning all of the Batman fans in my age bracket back into like sniveling 9-year-olds. Because a lot of people are either really for it or they really fucking hate it. They can't stand it. They think it's too childish. They think that there's no point in telling the story of Batman without characters like Catwoman, the Joker, Bane, the Riddler, Penguin. These very crucial, almost critical, almost defining characters. And instead, they've done things like they've made Alfred this, like, I think he's, like, whatever they say, MI6 operative who, like, has intense, like, combat training. And he's also got, like, this crazy, like, half Scottish accent. And it's actually, this is my favorite Alfred. I have to say that my favorite incarnation of Batman was always the Michael Keaton, Tim Burton Batman. I love that world. I think that's what, to me, I always saw Batman as. Like, my favorite scene in those two movies is, it's the beginning of the Dark, or Batman Returns. And, Bruce Wayne is just sitting there, pitch black, is just waiting. He just waits until his bat signal comes on and, like, it flies across the screen and he's alive again. And I like that insanity. So I like that, Bruce Wayne is a dark character, and they're definitely not holding any of that back in this show. Now, what are people complaining the most about? And I spent, like, a lot of time on the internet before making this video trying to see the feelings people have, and they have a lot of feelings, but a lot of people don't like that they're dropping the old characters. Like, some people, which is really, truly disturbing that people calling themselves fans of the Batman world are saying this, but some people out there who say they're fans are complaining that there's no Joker, and that they've made up villains like Anarchy and Magpie. What? Those are two pretty substantial, but yet second string, Batman villains. Like, I think a lot of people have been spoiled in the past 10 years with the amount of sort of, mainstream franchise building, where Batman is only seen in relation to the Joker, or Bane, or the Riddler, or Catwoman, and they forget, like, all about, like, these second string characters. If you read Detective Comics, the original Batmans, stuff, I'd say it's stuff circling around year one, but also pre-year one. There's a lot of meat for the story of these new villains. These villains are classic villains. It's just that they're not as easily marketable. The Joker, he's got a thing you can market. Bane, he's got this thing you can market. Catwoman, definitely a thing you can market. So they get pushed up to build this franchise started by, the Joel Schumacher movies, the Tim Burton movies, the Chris Nolan movies, and even all the animated movies pretty much focus on a small bracket of the Batman world. So people aren't really used to seeing, anarchy running around. And it's strange to see people say that, they took the anarchy. In some of the episodes, Anarchy has a plot arc that runs parallel to the Dark Knight Chris Nolan film. And, some people are saying, that's the Joker's timeline. That's not. Anarchy has a very similar plot, but you have to realize a lot of Batman's villains are only in existence because of Batman. Bane wouldn't exist without Batman. The Joker would also not exist without Batman. But he's not the only one with that relationship to Batman. That's something I think a lot of people forget. I like the show a lot, actually. It's very interesting because I just started watching the old 1940s serial again. And that serial is what I always thought Batman would look like live action, like film noir, really gritty detective kind of stuff. And it's campy, the old serial, but it has elements of film noir, which I love. But so this show, it's got some really beautiful stuff. Some of the compositions and the light design, even the sound design, I'm pretty impressed with. It's really cinematic in a way that I don't think even Batman the original series got to do because of, the limitations of the technology at the time. Yeah, the animation is actually kind of strange in some spots. It's for the same reason I didn't like the Clone Wars TV show, because some of the choppy movements. But that actually kind of works with Batman's fighting style. He's got a very, this sort of approach to his fighting. And that was comedically bad on my part. But yeah, you get the point. His fighting style is very regimented and segmented because that's his training. He was trained by ninjas. It doesn't bother me. I really do like what they're doing, though. I think they're telling a lot of stories from the sort of Arkham book that you don't get to see. You don't really get to see these villains in anything anymore. And I like it. I like it a lot. I'm really impressed with the show. It's got beautiful shots. There's definitely some weird bits, but it's intelligently written for a kid's show. It's also hard to judge if it's really a kid's show. I was watching it online without really realizing what, network it was on. And let's just get something straight. There is a lot, and I mean a lot of cleavage. Magpie is the first, mainstream villain we see, I guess, besides, Professor Pig. But, there's a lot of fan servicey butt shots and cleavage shots. And, a lot of suggestive stuff that goes on. Batman's talking about using handcuffs on her, and she's talking about, getting his belt, and, it's really suggestive, and, it's cool. I think it's a different type of Batman show. We haven't seen it. It's a really dark one. It's very different from, The Brave and the Bold and Young Justice and all this other stuff, dealing with, that sort of world, and really just kind of hitting a surface of, camp. But this is really, it's taking the story back to sort of the Tim Burton interpretation, which is a very, kind of deranged place. Gotham is not normal. Gotham is not just, a bunch of terrorists running around all the time. It's just some crazy people doing crazy shit. I like it. I think if you give it a chance, it can be really interesting. And I think they're doing a lot of intelligent things. They're not overtelling old stories. We've seen the Joker story 1,000 times in the movies and the cartoons. Yes, those are amazing, and I love it, and I miss them now. It would be interesting to see those stories told with this kind of vehicle, but it's cool to see these smaller pockets of Gotham being taken out into the air, because I love them. I'm a Batman nut. And the fact that they're unearthing these gems is just truly awesome. And, my little baby cousin now isn't going to be, thinking that Joker is the only fucking bad guy. Yeah. Watch it.